What's good, everybody? This is Y and Z, a conversation between the generations. I represent Generation Y in this here equation, known as the Millennials. Jay Clark is the name. The other half represents Gen Z, Xavier Lewis. Like, share, subscribe, join us in this conversation. We appreciate you. Please just give us a 5 star. Press that little button. You know how the algorithm thing works now. This ain't new. This is what it do. My young brother, how are you this week, sir?
Hey, what's going on, man? Post Memorial Day, and I'm feeling amazing. The weather is steady rising
It
in
was hot.
temperatures.
It was
It
hot.
was hot this weekend. If you're anywhere in an environment like New Orleans, not only were you hot, but you were sticky.
Just that
Felt like I
uncomfortable.
needed a shower every 10 minutes, bruh. It was just, ugh.
Oh, we're officially in 2 shower season. Like
Oh,
you got
yes.
to start the day with one, and you got to end the day with one at a minimum. Yeah,
And depending on what you do, you might need a midday
might
shower.
need a
You
midday
know what I'm
or
saying?
a couple middays. Yeah,
Because that deodorant is not strong enough to
please. Somebody,
last you.
where deodorant? I've been seeing because apparently DreamCon is in Houston this week, and so I've been seeing the posts like, "Hey, please wear deodorant." I'm like, "Oh, some of y'all
Be out there funky fresh.
be out there funky fresh." And actually, speaking of being out there and funky and things that's a good transition because apparently these men is just out here funky on these dating streets. And we've all seen it. A brother by the name of Deontay on that Grits and Eggs podcast.
I like
You
grits and
know,
eggs.
that viral clip about accountability and intersectionality, and he's attempting to hold black men accountable, which I'm not mad at, which is a sticky space because folks have been up in arms. Um, we're gonna navigate this minefield quickly.
Yeah.
'Cause I thought who knows how long we'll stay here. But young blood, let me ask you because I sent it to you. I'm just
Yeah, yeah.
curious. We discussed it briefly before hopping on. You said you agreed and disagreed with something. I'm just curious where overall where you sitting with it. What spoke to you in this video?
Yeah. I think where I disagree is his early statements in the video saying that, it's the majority of men. I don't know how I necessarily feel about that.
Okay.
I mean, statistically,
Um,
maybe.
real quick. I invite you to share your opinion. But we're going to create a safe space here. And I want to frame this conversation a little bit.
Yeah.
Because we are two individuals
Right, right.
and we are men. So we are positioned to speak on attitudes of men, although I don't necessarily want to say I speak for all men because I certainly do not.
Correct.
I am my own man. In this conversation, we're going to speak towards the men. That I ask, and the only issue I'm taking issue with your beginning disagreement with this statement is I have to trust black women on this one.
But it wasn't a
We
black
heard,
woman saying that.
huh? No, but
It
but
wasn't.
but, but what he's saying is the majority of black women are saying this.
Yeah.
I'm going to take their
Okay.
belief and move forward, and I'm not going to sit here in step one and they be like, yes, majority of men do not know how to take rejection or what. Okay, I will believe you on that. I'm not going. We're not this episode. We're not going to sit here and fight the premise. If you understand what I'm saying,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. I get what you're saying. I
Okay.
get what you're
Like this is a we love black women. We support black women. I've married a black woman. Dating one. Like this is not that episode. We are and we're also not here because it's one of the issues. Sorry, long interruption. The whole
No, no,
simp
no, no, no.
thing. All like we're just setting the stage. Like this is so. Please just work from that state. We're not here to
Yeah, yeah.
argue. Like that's the direction we're going. So I get what you're saying. It may be hard for you to believe because also a part of it is I believe being the men that we are and who we interact with, we may not be interacting with those. Or
With correct, correct.
where we see that behavior, which we'll probably get into that later. But so sorry, by all means, continue. There we go.
No, 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 no. I think, but I mean, if I had a disagreement, that would be the only
Okay.
disagreement there. And not even like a major disagreement, just in my head, like I'm a little shaky on that statement. But other than that, I mean, I agree with him. I think, I think there are a large group of women who do, experience men just being creeps. I think that's the only word I can think in my head about. And I agree with most of what he's saying. Like, we have to hold each other accountable. Like as men, we have to understand that there are certain things that we deem normal, certain things that we deem to be acceptable, that is far from acceptable to our counterparts in black women in particular.
Okay, I agree. I'll
Yeah.
be devil's advocate just for fun,
Yeah.
which might be slightly contrary to what I just said. It's kind of like anyway. Okay. So say that again real quick, so I can because I had it, but say that again real quick.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah. I was just saying, like, a lot of things that we deem to be acceptable, okay, socially acceptable. That's because that's really what we're talking about, not things in private spaces, but socially acceptable in public as black men, it could be far from acceptable towards black women in
Okay.
those same spaces.
What do we do in a space where, as society, more things are becoming acceptable simply because as things are being tailored towards an individual experience and view? How do we then, as a society, or specifically in this encounter, how do we as black men hold other black men accountable when we're now in this phrase of it's my life and I'll live and do the things that I want to do, how I'm being judged, be damned? Because at some point, if you know or you're aware of, okay, yep, this is my behavior, and you're comfortable, and you're literally being like, okay, yeah, this is my behavior. I know it's my behavior, and I'm comfortable in this behavior. I don't care what you think about this behavior. How do we hold people accountable? Because this idea
You
of which we've
can't.
talked about in a lot of like it comes back to this mainstream type of thing. This is the way we all agree, or the standards we all agree in said
Right.
space. But we're now in the hey, it's my life. This is how I view the world. This is how I see the world. This is how I want to act. So on the one half, so the first half of this question, because now I have a second.
Yeah.
The first half of this question, in this age of, yeah, this is my life. I do what I want. Be damned. How do we hold people accountable? As we see by the convict in the White House.
You can't, honestly, because accountability is only held within close knit. I mean, not even necessarily close knit, but you have to be in some form of community and trust with the person to even be able to hold a person accountable. That's the only way accountability works. If you have a person that you trust, you have a person or a group of people that you trust, a group of people that you kind of come to, that's the only way accountability works. And so, honestly, we say it as oh, yeah, we're a collection of black men, we're a society of black men, or, a group of black men. That could be a statement that's far from the truth. Because are we truly a group? Because a group of people would be able to hold each other accountable. And the way, like you said, the way society is going right now, it's not leaving any room for community to be built their way accountability can be held.
Because also, what came to mind right there is long-term accountability. Because I think there's such a thing as a short-term accountability. Like, so for example, that shit ain't going down around if I'm present.
Right.
Because my life or how I view women should be treated or interacted with, and yeah, like how I am as a man, there are certain things if I'm in the presence and I view I am safe enough to do so, which is a whole nother discussion. But and I feel safe enough to do so. Yeah, that shit's not going down in my presence past a certain point because that's just how I am. But that
Right.
short term, I could theoretically stop something in the moment. What happens if me or a type of brother like me isn't there in the moment? So short term accountability, I don't think is the problem. I think what we're really, it's that long term. Like this is who you are, and again, it's that beginning premise. Well, yes, this is who I am, and I'm comfortable with that.
I'm never gonna change.
I'm never going to change. And if I'm getting the results I want to get,
And let's
that's
be honest, I I've read a book I mean, I've read this book 1,000 times at this point. I have to find it and return to you the name of it, but it has a statement in the book where it says like there are grown men with bodies of grown men, but minds of boys.
that too. That
This mindset of oh, however I was gonna mature, I reached the peak level of my maturity in my teenage years. Huh? So now you're operating, you're going throughout life, creating these What you think is just, oh, well, it's just me being me. That's just how I am. This is just my finesse. And it's like what you're saying, because that's where the long-term accountability is going to have to come into play, is breaking down those mindsets. That's where it really is going to come into play. And so I'm thinking in my head, like, okay, you think like that, you don't want to change, you're a creep. And because, but like you said, because it's worked for you so many times before, you think it's just your secret sauce.
So here's the thing. You know I'm a baseball fan.
Yeah.
And I think and with all sports, it's always, oh yeah, this sport, insert sport is like life. I think a lot of times though, baseball is the most like life because it's the one sport where you can have a 70% failure rate and be considered a great. It's the one sport where, because it's so hard to do, where the thing we want you to do, you can fail at 7 times out of 10
Wow.
and be considered a great. The greatest hitter in baseball, Ted Williams, has a 400 average. You know what that means? If he got up to bat 1,000 times, 600 times, he's not getting a hit. 60% failure rate. And I think it's kind of like life now on this point, in the fact that is
Wow.
because of technology and the way we are so globalized now, the odds, even they seem great. I only ever need to hit one. And so it used to be I was only able to come to the plate maybe 4, 5 times, maybe 10, maybe 20, but but now we're at a point I can literally come to the plate every minute of the day, swiping left to right. And as long as somebody responds back
You
and
feel
I get
like
to
that's success.
and so yeah, okay, everybody's not going to respond back. Okay, cool. As long as a couple do, cool. And I don't need everything to be positive in that. As long as I get the one, that's all that matters. And so again, as long as I get the one, why do I need to change my behavior because you don't like it outside of the one I'm getting? You may not like it. As long as I get the one who does, be damned. The other, let's just say it's 100%. The other 99, be damned. I got my one. All I need is one.
Unfortunately, that's the truth of the situation. That is the truth of the situation. People believe that just because they have some
Option.
semblance, not just options, but some semblance of success, that's all they care about. Some semblance of
Well,
success.
I'll push back on you. Some, all you need is one. That's not
Not
some.
even
That's
the
not
exact. That's
some
just more.
semblance. That is success at a bare minimum. I just need let's just say my goal is I need a woman every night. I just need one every
To
night
meet that goal.
to meet that goal. And depending on where it may be, like I said, because of technology now, the possibility is there for me to have a new woman every night. Now, the better human being, the better man I am, better chances of that. Cool. But at the end of the day, if I'm successfully getting one, why do I need to change if that's my minimum success rate? The odd, again, and we, I said, and this is not just relationships and account. Like we've seen things degrading as more options over time in society, and this is just one of those things. And part of the problem here is as much noise as those who are like, yes, these men are creeps, these men are trash. There's a lot of that noise out there. There's some noise reinforcing them too.
Yeah,
See it
that
all.
is the problem.
You
The
see it all.
reinforcement is louder than the accountability.
Well, I I wouldn't phrase it that way. The reinforcement is louder than the shaming. Or I believe the reinforce here no, here we go. It's Gen Z's life.
Oh, this is
I
good.
only I only
This is
engage
good.
in that which reinforces me and my belief and my behavior.
And I'm blind to everything else
And I'm
about it.
not even blind. I'm just choosing to ignore it. So again, how do we do this accountability thing? If Okay, yeah, you don't like what I'm doing, that's fine. That person does. You don't like what I'm doing, fine. That person does. You're calling
And
it, and that
they
it,
have curated their whole life around things, people,
the technology is
places
doing it.
that reinforces
The
those
technology is
same
doing it.
beliefs.
Because I guarantee on their feeds, they're seeing similar behavior, similar content creators who support their views, their stances, yada yada. All like it's they're getting reinforcement. And so the question is,
It
do I choose to believe or I choose to go with the things that reinforce my beliefs and how I think my life and how I want to live my life and how I've structured it? Or do I choose to listen to something that might push me further or might be a little bit difficult or might, even if it's for positive benefit, it's going to disrupt what I believe where, like what's the driving factor
I'm gonna tell
outside
you
of just be
this.
good?
I'm gonna say this. I feel like one individual that was highly polarizing during his life with his platform was Kevin Samuels. I always say it. I don't feel like everything Kevin Samuels said was egregious. I believe like some of the things he was saying to men, because most of his content was just to me and teaching them how to be alpha males, all that kind of stuff, be the best version of yourself. That was his main part of the content. But it would always amaze me about how many of the people that were not his regular content watchers would only tune into the content that would go viral when he was responding to a young, a lady or anything like that concerning, they called in and all that kind of stuff. Very highly polarizing person. And you just were able to see the type of person that you were depending on what drew you about his content. The same thing can be said about everything you just said is how basically what was happening in that same sector. There will be portions of his show where you actually had people who was like, okay, I'm actually here to, men, I'm actually here to better myself. Let me listen in, how to get some stocks, how I can, upgrade my wardrobe, all this kind of stuff, yada, yada, yada. And you just had men who just wanted to listen to women get roasted on.
Good content. Oh, well,
Yeah,
because good content will speak to a lot of people in a variety of ways. Now, I'm not necessarily calling his good, but
yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's that's the mainstream presence. So take something like Cosby Show or Different World or Fresh Prince or whatever, mainstream shows. You may not have liked every single aspect of that show, but granted, there was probably something you really enjoyed,
yeah,
depending on what your back, So it could be it. You really loved Fresh Prince because of Ashley. Hey, cool. I'm not mad at you. Maybe what really drove me for Fresh Prince was the shoes. Cool. We're both enjoying the same show for different reasons. And both of those things are existing within the same show for
yeah,
different reasons. Now, I may not be here for Ashley. I'm here for the shoes, but I'm gonna see Ashley. Okay, cool. And now, yeah, I may be like, nah, yeah, Ashley ain't doing it for me. Which is a straight up lie. Tatiana at least one of the plans. Anywho, but it's that same type of thing. And then also the other side is a broken clock is right twice a day. Like
right,
there's going to be
right,
good and bad with it. Like it's nothing is ever one side.
100%.
And the other part of that first question I had, which is okay. So the burden is on us to try and hold other men accountable. I'm not here making it like we're not like no we and as Xavier said it's spaces matter. Like there are men in my life who will hold me accountable and vice
Yeah,
versa. We part this hey I try to do him for him he's gonna try and do the same for me. That's
yeah,
it's part of that circle. Every man can't try and hold me accountable because who the fuck are you? But part of it is shifting dynamics. We have seen, and this is the only time I'm going to do this because like I said I'm not trying to criticize black women here.
yeah, yeah,
Through history, we've seen rights, privileges, doors be like the lane for women has expanded throughout history
yeah,
because of patriarchal type of stuff. Yes. So we're now in this space where women are able to define their lives, wants, needs, desires in a way that doesn't rely on a man. Great. Happy for them. They are also redefining and it's what it means to be a woman outside of patriarchal definitions. Cool.
correct.
Great. Again, everybody's in this phase. This is my life. This is what it means. Everybody should have that ability. I'm not trying to limit. But I don't think we explore the other side of that also. Because part of this, and I think this is a side that we as men are struggling with a lot, is
Uh-huh.
okay, what it means to be a woman has changed for the better throughout history. and it is challenging the historical concept of what it means to
To
be
be a
a
man.
man. Cool. We should always revisit and look at some things.
Yep.
Nobody's providing a good definition right now for what that is.
Oh no.
And nobody seems interested in exploring it. It's kind of being left to, hey, y'all, you men,
Figure it
figure it
out.
out. And there's conflict there. Because let's be honest, I saw a lot of, oh, he's simping, he capping, yada, yada, yada. Um, we're here for women. Let's be honest. A lot of our pursuits, things we do in life, are to gain the favor and affection
Of a
of,
woman.
of a woman. How we dress, the money we want to earn, like let's
Yep.
keep it a
Let's
buck.
just be
Because
real.
you see the joke memes. Oh, I just saw one over the weekend. It was a lakeside, and foresty, and it had a little arch of the forest, and just a single simple white plastic lawn chair, and the caption was, "A man could sit here all day, and it would be a perfect day."
Yeah.
So yes, we are simple. Don't need much. A lot of things we do
No.
are to gain the favor and affection of women, which is part of the problem. It's like, okay, if we're trying to do this in you, but again, it comes back to if I get to one, that's all that matters. Again, back to so if we're not defining what this new era man is, and I think women need to be included in that.
Yes. Okay. I'm glad you just said that. I'm gonna tell you what I feel like it is. I feel like in their mindset, for so many millennia, let's just be real. The definition of a woman was made by a man, and women were not included in that definition. So women in turn are like, okay, we're gonna create our own definitions. We don't want men to do anything with what it means to be a woman. And in turn, we're just gonna leave them, like you just said, to figure it out. But in my head,
So no, great
we
hand clap. Do that. Go.
they do need to do their own definition of what it means to be a woman because unfortunately it doesn't work and vice versa because what it means to be a man is going to take a woman.
It's a
I'll put it like that.
reflection of the woman.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's
So
let's go keep
while
going.
women don't need men in their definitions, men, we need we need the help of women to define what it means to be a man.
I'm not.
I stand 10 toes on that.
I won't necessarily say it's the help of a woman. I'm like, yes, I enjoy the simple times. Yeah, you give me a good place to sit. Like, yeah, I don't need much, but that's also only gonna last so long. Um, I love my wife. I enjoy time, but like, yeah, I enjoy that partner. Like, I even before my wife is what we see now. Everybody wants relationship. Everybody's going, oh, you want that companionship. Yada yada is great. I am, as a man, while I do enjoy time with my brothers and other men and friends, but I prefer a woman because there's things I'm enjoying with a woman that I'm not enjoying with a man. And I'm gonna phrase it like this. I think part of the thing is women are a lot more open and free with their women friends, in a sense that
Yes.
men are free with their men friends, which provides an interesting dynamic. Um, but I think they don't want to be included. I'm judgment.
Yeah, yeah.
I think they're not looking to be included in that part of the conversation sometimes because it's kind of like, hey, we defined all this, like, do it for yourself. But that's clashing with the, hey, but we're living life kind of in a way
We
for
need
you.
some accountability.
Well, we need accountability, but we also need, if what previously worked was not good because of issues of a patriarchal society, cool. If what's not working now in this free fall kind of like help
Yeah.
define, like, because I think part of it is that patriarchal society defined, okay, this is what a man does. And a lot of that stuff was because we're not allowing women to do said things. Women have gotten the freedom to do a lot of these things, and we're now in this space where gender roles are very, in terms and traditional ways, in terms of, yeah, the man does this, the woman, like, all, and
Right, 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 right.
conflict all the day. Okay, cool. So if we're conflicting there, what do you want us to do? And I know the basics of love us, take care of us. Great. Specifically, what does that look like? And
Yeah.
here's where I'm going to conflict with my earlier statement. The problem is it's different for every woman.
And I'll always say this to people, there is no grand master playbook that addresses every single woman. No. Every single woman is so individualistic. And while you may be able to correlate certain main categories, the more you dive deeper into your woman, you'll be like, oh, hold up. I thought I do, but I don't. And that's just as simple as it is. You have to dive deep
Which
to
is
be able
not
to know it's not a bad
it's
thing.
not a bad thing, but it creates again this interesting dilemma when success means one.
Yeah.
So all I need to do is find the one that aligns with how I see myself and want to live my life. And what do we say when it comes to dating, relationships, all this kind of stuff? You gotta go through a few rotten eggs. You gotta go through a few bad apples to find the good one. It's an interesting conflict, and I don't quite know where we go.
No.
Like, yeah, I'm me. Jay Clark is gonna hold men accountable who are in my space, or once again, as I said, if I feel safe enough, because I do have to judge my own safety and circumstances, because
Almost definitely.
I'm not just gonna step up on a random
YN.
YN sometimes, and that YN might begin because then it comes down to you're not gonna risk my life for me. You're not gonna risk your life for me. No, I don't know you.
No, no.
Yeah, a
Unfortunately.
random as and again, these are questions I don't have answers for. So in a random situation, am I supposed to just then give my life for you because I'm a man and I'm going to hold this other man accountable, even though you're a stranger and you're just a woman? But then that goes into complete conflict with the whole what we have
There are
seen.
so many.
It's a natural conflict, and again, it all comes back to all you need is one. Like I am so glad I'm not in this scene nowadays because it's such a quagmire. It is like it's such
Love
a quagmire.
Quagmire.
Oh,
I love Quagmire.
giggity, giggity. The perfect example. Quagmire is a perfect example of this
Yes, yes,
because literally, yeah,
yes,
Quagmire is a piece of trash to an extent, and his dealings with women. We can all agree with that. But you know what he finds?
yes. A woman.
He finds his one. And like I said, it's a weird space. And seeing the roast, like I said, seeing the reaction to a lot of this stuff, it's like you
That's crazy.
saw every piece of the gambit. And in this world where it's like, yes, this is the life I want to live, and these are the things I want to believe. How do we do long-term accountability with that? And literally, and again, if I'm a YN, everything in life is telling me I don't need to change. I can be a convicted felon and become president.
Become
That's
the leader of the free
that's
world.
the world we live in now. I use my power to get the things that I want. That's the world we live in now. Nobody's saying it's right, but these are the things we're being like.
That's the reality. Unfortunately, that is the reality of the world we live in, where there is, we go to school and we learn about ethical standards and we learn about moral accountability to your own morals. But what happens when your morals are trash?
Well, add in the other part of that, which were then reinforced by your surrounding community. Back in the day,
Yes,
back what we always hear about. Oh, you got in trouble at school? Okay, the teacher might beat you, or would do something. Then the principal would then beat you, and then on your way home,
the neighbor.
the neighbor might get you before you finally got home to your mama, who would then probably get you on the like a community. Versus now, what you hit? Don't touch my child. Don't judge my child. Out. You don't. Again, that individualistic thing. So again, if my mama or whoever is making excuses for me in this behavior as a young again, why all of a sudden now I'm running into conflict, same conflict, maybe possibly again. I don't need to change. I've found success, or I'm still here, or even if I'm not finding success, I'm okay with not finding success because what are we telling people? You don't need nobody, or hell, I got AI, I got social media. Like there are so many things handicapping behavior right now because there's nothing that says I need to change my behavior to find success. Everybody or a social media will have you believing that everybody is finding success being the person that they are, regardless of whatever, what else anyone else thinks about it.
Yeah. I think a lot of this just has to do with redefinition of success. What is
That's
success?
never going to change though. You're never the minimum, and I think that's the thing is the minimum in this particular area, relationships, is theoretically I could be a trash ass man. Again, the, here's the bare minimum possibly for success, right? I just need to meet one woman
One,
who likes me, agrees with me, and then wants to get, if I want to get married, who will then marry me, and I'm good for life. I have my one. Again, the rate like I don't need 50. I don't need to be a pimp. I don't need all the hoes. I don't need all the women. I just need one.
to buy into the delusion.
No, not even. Is it delusion if she likes who I am? That's
Yes,
not
she's
no,
bought into the delusion.
no. What if that's what she likes? Because again, I am here to believe women. And again, there are those who are like, yes, I do like this. And that's not to discredit those who don't. We have seen across everything and every life is a spectrum.
Yeah.
And there are people along every phase of that spectrum. If I take a step to the left, I'm not where I was standing. I'm a step like so it's again this weird quagmire. And again, in this age where now it appears my options are limitless. It's not a matter of having to change to find success. No, I just go somewhere else. It ain't working here. Okay, I'll just go over here. I'll exhaust it all there. If it ain't working there,
And
okay.
you've and like we just said, technology added into that. Me changing location, it's just me moving from one app to another.
Could be, yep, could be. And here's what's going to be a little messy, unfortunately. As a man, I have no clock.
Nope.
I have
Nope.
no clock. As long as everything is working.
I could do this from the time I'm 16 to 65.
Yep. Versus
A woman.
at the other side, which there's a lot of judgments about. I'm not going to step into this too deeply, but which we hear a lot of pushback against now. Oh, people are
Yeah,
having children later. Okay. Oh, the natural clock. What? I don't care where you fall on that line. At some point, it's very much so harder for a woman of a certain age to have a baby than a woman of a younger age.
definitely.
Where that marker is, hey, life is changing, cool, great, but it's there. At some point, them eggs run out. Now there's options and so that influences decisions. So that type of pressure, we don't have to be accountable,
No.
or that there is no like, oh, if I don't get this by Tuesday, I fail. No, I could get the woman 3 minutes before the day I died, the moment I died, and that could possibly be success if that's what I'm doing as success. Like I just need to know that I got one. Okay, cool. It's a sticky place because I don't know what's going to push for the better because everything that we saw that used to be meant to hold accountability or to inspire community and like
Dismantled.
dismantled. And I hope some of y'all understand why now because it leads to this kind of mess.
Yeah, I agree. I don't.
And it's not just a sex thing because there's gonna
No,
be
no, no,
yep,
no,
yep.
no,
If
no.
I'm a male, I can go get me a flashlight, one of them AI dolls that I be seeing, in China.
Oh,
On the woman's side, you got the rose, you got what ain't nothing,
they are doing away with the nerve endings.
ain't nothing as good. And like I said, not just in the sexual, as in that one to one, you and me, we right here in the same space time, and like I said, not just about sex, but just enjoying life, whatever that may be. Could be sipping a
Yeah.
glass of wine, watching the sunset, listening to some music, doing it with somebody else, and all I need is that one person to do it with. Um,
And like I said, the only thing that scares me about that is I can still be inherently a horrible person. I could still be.
Eh,
Oh, that
You
is
know plenty of horrible
so.
people in relationships.
Yes, yes, yes,
Hell, the
yes.
convicted felon is in what's this? His third, fourth, fifth wife? I don't know.
I can still be a horrible person, have children, and that's why I don't want a lot of Gen Zers now to equate being a good person with being successful. Because you don't have to inherently be both to get the other. Because there
Two
are plenty successful people
who are bad,
who are just horrible people.
and there are plenty of good people who are not successful.
Correct.
That's probably the majority of the world to an extent. But yeah, it's a nasty quagmire. And so I guess at the end of the day, it really comes down to your self worth.
Yeah.
For me and my background, how I was raised and what I believe, and yeah. But again, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I was perfect either.
Nah.
I'm sure there have probably been some women who have been appalled at approaches, advances, or behavior. Like I
I always say it. Don't get me wrong. I do believe that I might be the shining hero to certain people's stories, but to other people's stories,
I am the villain.
I am the villain. I am very self aware of the role that I've played in a lot of people's lives. And I'm not, like you said, we're not here to say that we've always been perfect or that we've always been that shining light. Oh, God, no. But we learned from it. And we started curating environments to where people could hold us accountable to make sure we never engage in those behaviors again in continuation.
Well, that's as long as you were aware of it. I'm sure there's behavior that I'm not even aware of. So
Yeah.
because somebody didn't say nothing, and so yes, for you one, you didn't say nothing, and but again, quagmire. Let's just go ahead and get out of it. I think that's a good note to wrap up on. It's Y and Z, a conversation between the generations. Like, share, subscribe. Hey, you got a comment? Please.
Let us know how you feel.
Yeah, let us know. We said some trash. Call it out. Let us know. Explain it to us why, in your circumstances, how you view the world. It is either way. Again, we're not here to denigrate anybody's opinion. We're talking about this. And again, let me reemphasize, it's always team black women over here. Like I'm not
Oh,
gonna.
yes, sir.
Like I'm
Oh,
glad.
yes, sir.
I'm glad y'all are able to live the lives some of y'all are living now. Like I'm glad. Yes, you deserve it. You deserve it all. I hope you get it all. We'll just see what happens. Until next time.
Peace.
Woo, sir,
Good episode.
sir.
Good episode.
Sticky situations. But already, brother, I will
All right, man.
see you next week.
See you next
Enjoy.
week. All right.